Listen up. You are now listening to News with My Fiancé with DJ Ambush and Morgan Jones.
Good morning, fiancés. How are we today? I am sort of alive. No, I'm more alive than normal.
I think you are.
More awake than normal today.
You're more alive than I am.
I'll just say there are some cobwebs. There's some things happening. Yeah, no. Ambush?
Yes, ma'am. Mambush? Mm-hmm.
It's been a week.
It has been a week.
As we normally say.
Because every week it's been a week. I don't know how you guys put up with it. You know? The failure of our
Text us
media.
now. Tell us how you put up with it.
Yo, I legit, while doing the dishes a couple of days ago. That's right. I threw in there. Doing dishes.
Someone wants a pat on the back.
Yeah, it's right. I'm in the house doing woman stuff.
Yeah.
Like dishes.
Getting you in the kitchen.
You know what I'm saying?
Take those shoes off, baby. They're being there barefoot.
Yeah. I mean, imagine doing chores and I can't even have shoes on.
I mean, that is wild.
Oh my gosh.
I want to know who started that. Sorry, I won't.
The whole barefoot and pregnant?
Yeah, because what do you mean, fam? I'm supposed to be walking around doing actual stuff with no shoes on?
Why? I'm the one doing the stuff. Shouldn't I have all the equipment?
There just had to be, there's some factor there, like not understanding the work or.
Oh, definitely not understanding the work. They're so far removed from the work. There's no understanding.
Yeah.
Of it. But maybe the whole barefoot thing was to keep you in the house, right?
Oh, it's like.
Because if you have shoes and you
could just run.
Yeah.
Skedaddle on out of here.
I drive you to the market to pick up what you need. And then I drive you back.
You know what's wild is as a person who spent a lot of time driving and liking it, I don't want to anymore. So the idea of being driven around sounds great, but not when it's meant to control you and your movements. That's not a great place for that to be.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
One could imagine. Yeah. But
sorry, you were saying
you
were doing the dishes. You are
dishes.
A domesticated man.
That's daggone right. And I was like, man, and you're going to be like, this is what you think about when you're doing the dishes? And I was like, man, local media is really failing us right now. I swear. Because it was like, it's one issue after the next. And they just keep reporting on it like, man, and this is what's happening. And that's crazy.
Another homeless person at it again.
Man, can you believe it? Wow. And
another business owner confused on what to do at 10.
So I understand media is supposed to be, objective and down the middle. And what's the other phrase that Fox uses? Clear and no.
Oh, what does Fox?
I was going to say clear and present danger. That's not.
Well, that's
they are clear and present.
That's on the letterhead.
Yeah, but I understand you're supposed to be
fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell at y'all.
No, I understand you're supposed to be fair and balanced. However.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt because that is not what the news is supposed to be. That is propaganda.
Right.
That is absolute propaganda that we have been told so that a Fox exists.
Yeah.
So that it's not weird that to everyone that, hey, how come this one news place says something completely different from this news place?
Right.
Oh, well, we're being fair and balanced. You guys aren't. Oh. Yeah. No, you're not supposed to. It's not supposed to be like, oh, let me get everybody's opinion on the story and then report that.
Are you sure? Because that's the news I'm used to.
Well, I mean, whom am I to say anything?
Yeah.
But it's my understanding that, you know, if it is raining outside and you are a reporter and someone says it's raining outside, you are not supposed to like do anything other than look outside and see if it's raining and then report that. It's not, well, but it's not raining 7 blocks from here.
Right.
So it's dry as a bone. Like,
folks,
you know,
depending on where you are.
And that's not news.
Yeah.
There's been a concerted effort to be able to do exactly that, and it works, and it has worked, and it makes us believe that when the news is like, and you know, it's all cable news has to be entertainment. It's because news is not like, ooh, let's turn on my favorite evening sitcom, and then it's like, you know, Lawrence O'Donnell. That's not, you know. So, but in order to have the ability to continue to divide in the way that it does, and report on things in a way that is more opinion and less fact. And
more entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong. What we do is report a story and then we give our opinion on it.
Yeah.
Knowledgeable opinion.
Yeah. Popular.
You know?
Popular, says our listeners, man.
It's true.
You get really good feedback.
It's true.
In person.
But we're also not pretending to be anything other than what we're doing.
No,
you know?
Facts. Facts.
So,
yeah.
But we're not in a great way, you know. Speaking of propaganda, real quick, if I could, because this was a thing that I couldn't even. Again, fiancés. It's like so much news. How do you keep up? There's other stuff you do in your life. How can I mean, I could just be refreshing different streams of news all day long if I had the time.
It's rough how much my Twitter is that now. I had to pop off because I'll see one story that gets me incensed, and I'm scrolling, and it's like, whoa! And then they did what? And then local what? I gotta get out of here. Following all the people that I want to get this news,
but it's overwhelming.
Sometimes, it's far less industry, music, entertainment stuff, and just a lot of news, man.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's it is a bit much. Overwhelming.
I remember now.
Boom.
Did y'all see Lindsey Graham?
That's how you do it?
Who seen him? Which one of y'all saw Lindsey leave Donald alone Graham act as if he can get into a fight with Vladimir Putin?
He bought that smoke.
Listen.
Lindsey bought that smoke, Graham.
What I need to understand is the propaganda doing which part now? Because aren't we supposed to be scared? Isn't Vladimir Putin the most scariest man on the planet?
I don't understand.
He got them nukes. The button is in his pocket at all times.
Look, I thought
he fights bears.
And maybe I'm just catching up. I thought Vladimir Putin was a friend to the Republican Party. They was doing all this defense, you know, all this propaganda. Oh, Putin. Russia. The only Russia I use is dressing. It's not a big deal. He's such a nice person. He's just misunderstood. He's a great leader. About that
dressing comment.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like this respect the you know, of his. He is a
James Bond villain.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Let's just leave it there. So he's a James Bond villain, which is 1,000% respectable to the Republican Party.
He's our type of
guy.
He gets after it.
Do you think that Lindsey Graham, in any circumstance, can physically handle himself in a situation with a Bond villain.
Well, that's the tricky part about Lindsey Graham. A lot of people don't know. We spend a lot of time
Here we
in
go.
we spend a lot of time in paramilitary black ops.
So Lindsey Graham absolutely is not Black Ops. I am not doing this with you.
He's played a lot of Gears of War in Call of Duty.
You know what? I would give you that. I'll give you that. Because Lindsey Graham definitely seems like a person who would be on the headset calling someone else the N-word.
Whoa. Confirmed Xbox Live user.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I did not see that one coming. He would.
He would.
He'd snatch
And
the headset
he
from
would-
his grandson just to do it.
He would absolutely pretend to be a teenager.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, I guess my point is, am I supposed to be scared, or like, is this man about to get us nuked because he's out here talking about Vladimir ain't nothing to me? I don't care. Come get me, coppers.
Put your dukes up.
Put your dukes up. Or you want to arrest me? Watch this, brother.
Lindsey Graham ain't nothing to F with. That's what he out here. So what's this want to arrest me? Vladimir has issued an arrest warrant.
Yeah, they issued an arrest warrant. This is what I'm saying. I'm not even I'm not even well versed on the story. I can only follow so much. But seeing Lindsey Graham be like, yeah, okay, so Russia got something to say. Catch me I'll see you at The Hague, brother.
Catch me outside.
Fam, Lindsey.
Pipe down.
Pipe down. Your security detail ain't that great, my guy. Like
Lindsey's ramping up.
He's big time. I feel like you just don't have the weaponry. I don't even think you have the, like, think about what Vladimir's personal weaponry is.
You called him Vladimir?
I did.
I'm going to throw it back at you.
No.
And with your question that you often ask, and that we will get on the t-shirt, who was this for?
That's my question. Thank you.
Lindsey.
I wish I had the answer. Now all of a sudden you're going to be more strong man of a strong man than Vladimir?
Well,
get out of here.
Somebody's got to do it.
Sir, you're missing a lot.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to say this. Nobody has said hello or good morning yet. And,
I feel like you guys don't want the wrath. Neither do I.
Not my favorite way to start the morning. Yeah. You know, 15 minutes in, not a hoot or a holler.
Shout me a holler, Dan.
Yeah. I guess we'll tell you what we're going to talk about. And then we can go to a music break and give you guys a chance to get your thumbs moving. You know, get them, stretch them out. Do a couple of things. We tried to be smarter this week and put 3 stories up so that we didn't go too hard in the paint.
Right. Correct, Mundo.
And by too hard in the paint, I mean write too many stories and not get to them.
We are passionate about the news, and it shows, and our listeners love it. They enjoy it on the playback, on the podcast.
Do they? We don't know that.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah.
Do we know they enjoy it?
Yeah.
Do they tell us? Do they tell Kyle?
Yes. On Twitter. Sorry, what was that?
That's just another thing that you guys can do. You guys can tell us that the podcast is cool too.
Ambush is live. Wow, that should be like a segment this week on Ambush is Live.
Yeah, it actually should. This week on Ambush is making it up again. Yeah. The funny thing is, you guys, you should moments of which I wish we had video.
Right.
Is you can tell immediately, like the body language. Oh my gosh, you and Caitlin. The body language is so obvious, and he'll be like, "What do you mean I'm not telling the truth?" Shoulders just everywhere.
No way, bro.
So today,
yes,
we're gonna do some hits.
You're not getting any new material today. We're gonna go into the hits.
Just kidding, friends. In local news, we're going to talk about how Portland Fire and Rescue is trying to extinguish Portland street response.
Just kidding.
I came up with that all on my own, and I would like a text about it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think the Mercury is going to steal it, or the Willamette Weekly is going to steal it. In the national news, a story we didn't get a chance to get to last week, and I'm so eager. That old mayor stop and frisk.
Oh, New York City.
I got some ideas. So Eric Adams is throwing shade at the president, the one that he used to, I don't know what's the right word, cosplay as? I'm New York's Joe Biden.
Joe Byron.
And he'd say that and pause for applause, which he often got, until he could no longer use that line because you said it over and over again.
You're New York's Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh.
We already have one of those.
I had to power down. Didn't see that coming. And in all things in Southern America, Ron DeSantis.
There we go. Make sure you pronounce it right.
Still doing the absolute most. Because, I mean, hey, what else is he going to do? He doesn't know.
Clearly not chill.
God.
Clearly not chill. I didn't even in the story add in that his they're doing the most with his wife's whole fashion choices and.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, they got her out here wearing cotillion gloves, and she looks like, you know, a debutante who looks like they're trying to cosplay as Jackie Kennedy but can't. And
oh, that's wild.
So, you know, royalty. Florida royalty. That's what she looks like.
No.
And it's definitely it's for purpose. It's definitely oh yeah. Not a part of the story, but maybe we'll get to it in the after.
Let me show you how I'm so different from you folk.
Yeah, but like also I'm so different from you folks. You shouldn't be here, Robert.
Right. You decided to put on the classism like outfit?
Fam, it's so bad. Like there's she has a ball gown on and is in a crowd and everyone else looks like they went to brunch or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So again, I know I liken a lot of things to TV or movies or music. But seeing her stand there and clap with the gloves on was like, you're not going to tell me they're not doing
Hunger
Gilead.
Games.
Oh,
right.
Well, I'm
yeah
sure that
a little
too.
both, huh?
Yeah.
Still post-apocalyptic dystopian. That's a lot of, that's Florida.
Yeah.
That's a lot going.
Can I tell you something?
You can tell me anything.
Oh.
Huh? That's right. Smooth Move.
Okay.
Volume 5. I have that dropping next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
A little off schedule, but yet Smooth
Promises
moves
made, promises
kept.
Oh, okay.
Huh? Volume 5. I've been at it for a while. You just weren't aware. Follow me on McCloud for Smooth Moves. It's my new. It's my new.
Mixtape series, or
it's my new podcast from
Talk.
A what do we call it? What is it called? High valued male viewpoint.
Oh boy!
I'm gonna give you all of the tips and tricks about how to woo a woman.
No.
And have her do whatever you want her to do. Pay your bills.
I can't wait for someone to clip this out.
Go grocery shopping. and charge your controllers on your PS5. What? That's what we need. High value man. Tips and tricks. Smooth moves.
I'm waiting for some of the high value fiancés to talk to me. So I don't understand.
I feel like now they're going to I was going to get all shots coming at me now because I pretended to be a high value man for.
Well, somebody better,
seconds.
I
don't want that smoke.
I'm not yelling. Smoke. Ambush just had it up too loud.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, I'm upset,
Babe, don't be upset.
I'm not upset. But seriously, is this thing on? Is the question.
It's on.
Where are the loves of our lives.
You know what? Shout out to the fiancés that have become regular listeners and also regular event attendees.
Ew.
Right?
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all showing up to White Eagle. It is White Eagle. Always
it is.
The eagle and owl are confused.
Put me in a bad place when I said yes to something the other day, and
it's interesting though because
one and meant the other.
White Owl is not in McMinimans.
No.
Right. So what are you guys doing over there? Eagles and owls. Huh? Slow down. It's confusing. It's happened to me at least twice where I showed up at the wrong gig.
And I think this is on you, but yeah.
Okay, so anyway, since I'm alone in here.
Well, I was just going to say, you know how so many years ago, you would maybe get someone's number.
Yeah.
And then, or where I'm going is give my number.
To a high value mail.
Indeed. And then not receive a communication.
Right.
I put our text number in my story, and I feel like you guys are leaving me on red.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going there for a second. Okay. We need to loop that back around.
You know, I forget in the moment, but give me a second. Let this train get a moving.
Let me land this plane. Give me
and
a
then
second.
I'll land that plane.
Hey, when's the last time you've been on Clubhouse?
Who?
Right.
Twitter Spaces? Never. None of them. I don't care about you guys having conference calls on speakerphone. Oh my gosh. Oh, come up to the podium. Let's make sure you land this plane.
It's like, have y'all not been in enough Zoom meetings already?
Have you not been in enough conference call? I don't need a 3-way call with 7,000 people.
It's the party line, bro.
Oh my word, bird. Yeah, like I feel like we're gonna have to get Chase on the horn. You know, no text messages coming through. This is not gonna work.
I don't know. I feel like we got something in here.
Oh, we got one.
Kenny. we know Ambush is a high value man because he's definitely not what he was just saying. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. Listen. What happened? What's your face? Who said something?
Rudooooo. Mackey Mouse Clubhouse. Morning from your boy. Rudooooo. Okay, so see, look it. Attitude immediately shifted. All I need is just a little, someone's here.
Rudooooo, do we get like shirts? Mackey Mouse Clubhouse shirts? Huh? We're macking it? Mac them down? Rudooooo, we'll talk later.
You guys have a production meeting.
Rudooooo, she's listening. We'll talk later.
She can see me.
Do we get these for Rose City Comic Con?
Wow, amazing that you're still going, though.
Sorry.
Even though you know that I can hear you and see you.
She's looking at me. We'll talk later.
Well,
all right.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
The story we couldn't get to last week, we had to add on a little bit because, more happens in a week. So it's a little longer of a story about A1 former America's Joe Byron. Is that how that was going to go?
Yeah.
Mayor Eric Adams slides to the right. Crisscross.
Everybody clap your hands.
Mayor Adams just can't stay out of the headlines. In May, New York Mayor Eric Adams made a number of controversial statements and took a number of actions that have been criticized by both liberals and progressives. Adams appeared on a right-wing radio show and agreed with the host that people who criticize the NYPD don't deserve to receive police assistance.
That sounds like, what do they call it, a slowdown? Okay, all right, never mind.
He has also doubled down on his support for stop and frisk policing, which has been shown to disproportionately target Black and Latino New Yorkers. Adams has been criticized for his handling of the city's homelessness crisis He has removed homeless encampments and pledged to remove mentally ill people from the streets involuntarily if a bill is allowed to pass. And he's resisting calls to close the Rikers Island jail complex by 2027, even though he made it a central promise of his campaign.
You don't say.
Adams' critics say that his rhetoric and actions are reminiscent of former President Donald John Trump.
He's New York's Donald Trump. Okay.
They worry that Adams is taking New York City in a dangerous direction. Earlier this month, Adams criticized President Biden, accusing the White House of abandoning the city in the face of an influx of thousands of migrants.
Mayor Adams described the situation as one of the largest humanitarian crises the city has ever experienced, attributing a projected $4.2 billion budget shortfall to the federal government's inaction. He emphasized that the arrival of asylum seekers was impacting every service in the city. The mayor called on the president and the executive branch to address the issue, stating that most migrants come to New York City to work and support themselves, but are legally prohibited from doing so for the first 6 months of their stay. Over the past year, more than 55,000 foreigners claiming refuge from persecution and violence have arrived in the city. Currently, approximately 200 asylum seekers are arriving daily, costing $380 per day per household for food and shelter, according to City Hall. Mayor Adams warned that the situation will worsen when the Title 42 health policy, which allows for the expulsion of asylum seekers on public health grounds, is set to expire. He estimated that if the situation remains uncontrolled, the number of people crossing the border and coming to New York would jump from 52,000 to 100,000.
Whoa!
The mayor stressed that the Biden-Harris administration and the Department of Homeland Security must use all available tools to resolve the issue.
To address the cost of the humanitarian effort, Mayor Adams recently ordered city agencies to cut $4 billion from their budgets over the next 4 years. He expressed concern that the city's hard-fought progress is at risk if the federal government does not provide assistance. In response, the mayor's criticism, the White House shifted blame to fiscally conservative House Republicans, claiming that they were responsible for insufficient funding. A White House official highlighted the significant investments made in New York City through the American Rescue Plan, shout out Joe Byron, and bipartisan infrastructure law, including infrastructure improvements and the allocation of vaccines. The official mentioned that additional funding for receiving cities like New York City would be announced by FEMA in the coming weeks, but emphasized the need for Congress to provide the requested funds and resources to address the broken immigration system. There have been many concerns raised about the impact on New York City's hotel industry. Adams has expressed worry that using hotels to house migrants could harm the tourism industry and take away rooms from vacationers. However, data from STR, a hotel company, indicates that there are still thousands of unoccupied hotel rooms in the city. The Hotel and Gaming Trades Council stated that about 3,500 rooms in unionized hotels were being used to house asylum seekers, while many more migrants were staying in non-unionized hotels. While the hotel occupancy rate has increased in recent months, it is still below pre-pandemic levels. The use of hotels for migrants has not negatively affected the tourist industry, according to the chief executive of the Hotel Association of New York City. The association represents 300 hotels in the city, and the availability of rooms remains unaffected. And I know, fiancés, right this second, you're like, why are you talking about the hotel industry? Let me tell you real quick. There were multiple stories about tourists' experience in getting to New York, being kicked out, or not kicked out, their reservation having been canceled, having not been told about the cancellation, and then the hotel being like, hey man, this is the city's fault. The city brought all these people here. Now they have all the rooms. Don't know what to tell you. Sorry about your luck. Oh, but I will find you another room somewhere else. The story was certainly about the inconvenience that a tourist would receive when the other part of the story is there's like, the claim is they are housing 40,000 new migrants.
Right.
What we decide to pay attention to, what we decide to focus on, what we decide to legislate about, because Eric Adams, make no mistake, is doing they're making it hard for me to do my job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unable to be Batman right now because I can't clean up the city when you keep bringing me more people.
I'd like to refer to him as Wilson Fisk, but go ahead.
Please do.
Okay.
I don't remember who that is.
The Kingpin.
Oh, okay. Absolutely not. I won't do that.
He runs for mayor and he pretends to clean up the city when he's really a criminal. We haven't gotten that storyline yet.
I'm really upset about it because...
like, not my Vincent D'Onofrio.
Not my Vincent D'Onofrio. Number one. No, but so when that is the story that we decide to go with, not that displaced people need a place to live.
Right.
Not that we are going to, when we focus on the fact that they have hotels to put people in instead and spend the money that way instead of trying to find permanent housing for temporary situations. So by that, I mean, if you have an influx of people, those people are not necessarily all looking to stay in the middle of Manhattan.
Also, this influx, is this still the Texas and Florida? Is this still part of that? We're going to throw migrants on buses and just...
yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure because...
Well, I don't know. Number one, you do know that Joe Biden has just left the borders open. Every border the doors just swinging open, gates wide open.
It's really interesting. It was this is what's so hard for me to understand about that particular thing, is because Trump said he finished the wall and it was a very strong wall. So where are the fences being left open? It's I don't know.
Well, it's a part where where the leftists the came in.
Okay.
And then they used
chicken wire or something.
They did something to the wall.
Yeah.
And so then that part of the wall broke. Okay. And then Joe Biden
wide open.
Won't fix that part of the wall because he's a poor.
Yeah. So
fan fiction.
Leading into my point, my hypothesis, if you will, that Eric Adams is sliding so much to the right. And this is all, for his presidential bid that's going to be coming around. Not
2024.
Yeah, but 2028. Oh, yeah.
He's going to have us doing the conservative cha-cha slide?
I believe so. So,
not us.
That's why I asked about that. If the migrants are still being transported to your city from, DeSantis and what's my guy?
Abbott.
And Abbott.
Given a terrible name to Abbott Elementary, by the way.
Terrible. Isn't that part of your gripe? And you're turning on Joe Biden and the Biden-Harris administration. Like, there's so many different ways that you could handle this. But it just seems really like you're jumping over the actual... You're skipping a step.
A big step. And that step is the people that are sending actual busloads of people your direction.
Why aren't you
and saying, good luck with that?
Yeah. Why aren't you asking for a federal response to that?
Hey, Joe Byron, could you please just extend a phone call to Ron DeSantis? Because he keeps sending people here.
Yeah.
And we ain't got the bread.
Also, just outside of, anyone asking for a federal response, why isn't there just a federal response?
Fam. There is really something to be said about the way that the supposed adults in the room, just hands up, Jesus take the wheel, somebody help out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, states' rights. Like it immediately, the federal government has no idea how anything works.
Yeah, they're neither federal or government.
They're just like, whoops. Hey.
Clubhouse rules.
part of that dang Mackey Mouse Club.
What also has me a little, I'm often confused. I won't say a little. I'm often very confused about this, right? And I see this local and federal. There are very, very clear and easy opportunities to just do things that make people happy and solve solutions. I mean, create solutions for issues, right? Implement those solutions. They wait until election time to do these things. And they do these things in a way to remind people, hey, I'm the one you want. Look what I'm doing. This thing has been going bad all this time. And all of a sudden, I got the solution, which is quite often something you've been asking for the entire time. I think that you came up with some new solution, Apple. So I'm always like, if you're doing good and you're solving these problems, your entire administration, I don't need to be reminded.
I hear that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, maybe, not that you're going to solve all the problems, but I'm sure come election time, there's other things you can tackle. But, like, the things that you campaigned on, you're supposed to just be knocking that out the park because you campaign pretending to have solutions. And there's just no accountability. There's no, what's what I'm looking for, consequence.
Yeah.
For any of it. It's just, hey, man, this is a lot harder than we thought. So we've pulled in the best minds to figure it out. And then we'll get back to you. But probably when it's time to campaign.
Definitely when it's time to campaign.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll talk sooner than that because it's going to take us 18 months to just have a meeting every week about how we're going to campaign.
Oh.
No, I feel you. I think, our process, it works the way it works very much on purpose for the people that it works for. Yeah. And it's politicians have the culture, I guess. The society is just accepting of they be lying.
Yeah.
They be lying and it's too hard to get anything done. So why even try?
Yeah.
And our local story today will point to how it isn't that hard to get things done, but it sure is hard to get things done when you're being sabotaged actively in real time.
It's actually harder to pretend you can't get things done
when you're actively sabotaging. And I think that's a thing that's part of it. That's part of the theater. The theater of politicians are not, so many of them are not in the game to fix things and make things easier for people.
Right.
They are not interested in making sure that everybody has a place to live or food to eat. Or, I mean, when you are truly offended by the idea of like kids should not starve, I don't know where we go. I don't know how we get to a point where, I mean, like, I don't remember that guy's name, but he was like, I've never met a starving child. Like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, what?
Dude, out loud.
But the theater of it all is that the politicians have to bank on a certain amount of the public caring for a small segment of time.
Right.
And once the election is over, whether the person that won is the person they wanted or not, there is a disconnect for a lot of people. And they bank on that.
Yeah. Because
otherwise, if everyone continued to pay attention, there would be just more people that are willing to speak up and try and get to that accountability, or at least try to get answers. But right now we have amazing journalists out there. It's not as if there aren't incredible reporters going out there asking questions, trying to get answers to things. If nobody is reading it, no one reads the follow-up, no one reads what Renee has done or paid attention to any city council meeting. If you haven't done any of those things and he's just, or the politician is just in your mind doing exactly what they said they would on the campaign trail.
Right.
If you check out, that only helps that system, that particular system. Because the other part of that propaganda has made us believe that it's individualism anyway. So it's not, you know, like.
There's the trap.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me? Why aren't you doing better?
You do better.
You got those bootstraps.
You do better. I just got a raise at work. What's your problem? You know what you could do? Work another job.
Yeah, earn it.
Just work hard and get the things. I know I'm sounding a little all over the place.
No,
but
you're not.
It is connected, I guess.
No, it's all the way connected. It's just confusing. And like you said, purposely so, right?
Very much.
Purposely so. I don't know, man. I feel like if you want all this power and you want all this praise and you want to be everyone, I feel like all of these people, especially that run for mayor, governor, president, they want to leave their mark.
Right.
Right. At some point, I want to say maybe early in their political aspirations, they wanted to be the greatest. And then, of course, you're campaigning, you start to really understand the process and how much lobbying and how much money is thrown around in here. And maybe being the greatest is kind of subdued by being really financially stable, above financially stable. Now I can shape markets. Now I can do all types of things and create windfall after windfall for myself. And that means more than the power. Okay, I get it. However, there's still an opportunity there because so much power rests within your position that you can do things that can shut up your naysayers. You can do things that actually will have people who maybe begrudgingly voted for you or voted against you be like, hey, you know what? Man.
Yeah.
Whoa, this was the right choice. We need this particular person back in office the next time. It's just like, I don't, has there been some type of, am I forgetting a point in time where having a consistent track record mattered more than what's happening in the moment? Am I having some,
I think your syntax error that's happening right now is that.
Thank you for recognizing my face.
I think you are giving too much common sense to a place that doesn't belong. So again, we take all of our experiences, right? There's certain stuff that you really take pride in. You take pride in being a great DJ. You take pride in being a person in the community, right? Mm-hmm. That's not what they're there for. It isn't like a lot of these folks, when you talk about making their mark doesn't look the same to you as it does to them.
To them, it's a mural.
To them, yeah, but it's also it's less of a mural. It's less mural because that feels like community to me.
Yeah, right.
More hedge fund, like it's definitely for me. Their legacy doesn't have to mean good. It doesn't have to mean that you did good. It doesn't have to mean that you change people's lives for the better. The legacy alone of being, say, take Adams, being whatever his other stats are, from a working class family and was a cop for however long, and I'm a Joe Schmo just like you guys kind of thing.
Right.
That could be enough for him to continue to get that adulation and all the things from the people he wants it from. You are not a person he cares about caring about his legacy.
Right. He doesn't care whether I care or not.
No. So the other thing is that we honestly believe, because people go through the process of campaigning and running for a seat of any sort, that they mean it. And that's on us.
Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And I wanted to retain my blackness. So I voted for Joe Biden.
Somebody had to.
You know?
You know?
And look where we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, look where we are.
No, like, we assume that if you're doing all of this and you're saying the things, I know that there's plenty of people that are running for office, have run for office, that are in office, that never said they were going to do good for people, because there's an entire party whose point is to do good for corporations, and that's that.
Yeah.
And then part of their job is to sell it to people as if it is going to positively impact their lives, but it isn't for them. They aren't even, going that route. So,
okay,
it's theater.
Yeah. Right back to the theme. It is theater. It's all bleeping theater, guys.
Yeah, it's absolutely just it's a job. And it's a really hard thing to come to terms with for people that are very serious about the outcomes of people's lives.
Yeah.
We want to see everybody thrive. And that doesn't mean other people don't get to thrive. I mean, like, the confusion of what equity means is the Jordan Petersons of the world and the, those big brains over at the Marketplace of Ideas want to tell you that what people are talking about is changing there's no equality of outcome. No one's talking about the actual equality of outcome. To jump to that and skip right past all of the things it takes to get to the outcome,
right,
and why all of those things are unfair currently, is just a deflection to talk about something that isn't real. Like, you go to jump to, just because you get all that stuff doesn't mean that it'll be the same. Right. So the same logic of, if you can't arrest every criminal, you might as well not.
Right.
If you can't,
right.
I mean, I say don't arrest them. That's a different situation. But like, it's all or nothing. You can't change one thing because it won't affect everything.
That was like that John Oliver video you showed me. It's an older video where he's talking to that dude about gun violence.
Yes.
In other countries and difference here.
And dude is basically like, a gun law's never going to get all guns off the street. And he's like, okay, so if you can't get all guns, don't even try and get one gun, right? And dude's just like, right. Because what you're saying is, we might as well not act if we can't do it 100%.
Yeah, it can't be absolute. Let's not
if
do
we
it at
can't
all.
be 100% certain that it will change everything, we shouldn't even mess with it. Actually, take money away from that program and give it back to the police.
Oh, that was interesting, because I was going to say, is that what we should do with the police, since they're not completely eradicating crime? Shouldn't we reallocate the money somewhere else? But then you said, no, we should actually...
I mean, I did not say that.
No, but I mean, yeah, that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And it would not follow their own logic. Yes.
Utter
Since
nonsense.
the police don't solve 100% of crime, defund them.
Yeah.
Which also... They out here talking about they was defunding and they wasn't.
Yo,
Take me to a music break.
Because we got to come back and talk about
big lies. Big lies.
Yeah, bruh. So we're going to jump into this local story involving Portland Fire and Rescue and Portland Street Response. And we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the PPB.
Yeah.
A little sprinkle.
Just a
little scritch on the scratch.
Maybe a little something about one Renee Gonzalez.
Man. A high-ranking whistleblower has filed a complaint against Portland Fire and Rescue, alleging that the Bureau is rife with bullying, discrimination, and unwanted physical contact against employees based on their sexual orientation. The complaint filed by Division Chief Tim Matthews alleges that Deputy Chief Lisa Reslock has engaged in a pattern of discriminatory behavior against employees. Matthews says that Reslock has made homophobic comments, has touched employees without their consent, and has threatened to fire employees who have complained about her behavior. Upon allegations of mistreatment by Reslock, Chief Boone recused herself and appointed her former protege, Tim Matthews, to handle the discipline of Lisa Reslock. He alleges he disciplined the senior bureau officer and close friend of Chief Boone for belittling Portland Street Response employees over the use of personal pronouns, and the chief responded by sabotaging his career. Matthews' complaint is the latest in a series of problems at Portland Fire and Rescue. In recent years, the Bureau has been plagued by allegations of mismanagement, waste, and abuse. The city paid nearly $3 million in sexual harassment settlements between 2020 and 2021. That is a lot of money.
Mugga.
And get this, Matthews was overseeing the Bureau's highest profile initiative, Portland Street Response, which sends unarmed mental health first responders and medics to aid people in crisis instead of armed police. PSR staffers say Boone sidelined Matthews, who was the Bureau's highest-ranking champion of their work, replacing him with a traditional firefighter who PSR employees say is unsupportive of their mission, and discussions about moving PSR to the city's community safety divisions completely fizzled. Including in this filing is the claim that Boone didn't want Portlanders to know how unpopular the program was inside the Fire Bureau. Wild. The claim takes on greater significance during budget season when Portland Street Response's budget is getting cut by around $3 million. As Boone struggles with spiraling overtime costs for traditional firefighters, which is currently eclipsing the PPB's egregious overtime spending. What does it mean to the success of a unit that is overseen by a bureau that finds its very existence a problem?
You know, our good friend, Renee Gonzalez, had a lot to say about Portland Street Response, has had a lot to say, and some pretty interesting actions have been taken in the way of helping unhoused folks. And when we know that a program was already being sabotaged, there's really no other way for me to say it. You know, they're slow rollout on the money, right? And never deployed all of the money, or, you know, we're still trying to figure that out. So leaving it completely underfunded and understaffed, and then expecting it to do a job for a particular set of hours in the day because there isn't enough money, but then also doesn't spend any time, money, effort getting that information out there, right? So it really helps anybody who does not want Portland Street Response. It really helps them if the public doesn't understand how Portland Street Response works.
Right.
So if you are a person who thinks that Portland Street Response is just, you know, now they just get dispatched to everything, and you make a call and the police say, you know, we'll send someone, and in your mind that someone is going to be Portland Street Response, and they don't show, that's what stays with you.
Yep. What do we vote on? Where do we funding?
You don't know why Portland Street Response goes to which calls they go to, but you assume that they will show up because the police were defunded. So it's all Portland Street Response now, right? Like, none of those things are real. The police were not defunded. Their budget is big.
Right.
Portland Fire and Rescue having Portland Street Response as a part of their budget, as a part of their bureau, I think probably made sense in a moment where it was like, well, yeah, I can't put Portland Street Response with the police. Right?
They surely won't survive.
But what this is showing me and continuously sort of unraveling for me is that just how much people think they're cops, no matter what their position is.
And I feel like up until this point, the fire department kind of, you know, they enjoyed the separation the public.
I think that they have continued to enjoy the separation, but they do get, this hero.
Yeah.
We come and save the day, and they get that treatment. Their job to me is more dangerous than police officers. If you're fighting a 3-alarm fire or whatever, please, any firefighter, don't be mad. I don't know the names.
I don't know the alarms.
That's way different than, you deciding to use excessive force on somebody. But what we're finding out is just with Portland Street Response's existence, just the mere existence of an alternative to the police, there are firefighters that are up in arms.
Bruh.
And any first responder is not supposed to be a person who is like, I will help these people, but not these people. I understand why some of those people get killed by the police quicker. You are a first responder meant to save lives.
Right. It's really confusing.
So the idea that the cultures are different, like Renee said, quote, there are very real cultural differences between Portland Fire and Rescue and Portland Street Response. There is a police abolitionist wing within PSR. While city employees are free to exercise their constitutional rights outside of working hours, there is no place for police abolitionist policies within a bureau I oversee, and we expect our first responders to work with each other as a team.
Where are the policies that these employees are enacting? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
This should not in any way be anything to each other. Like, this is the kind of thing where you are fostering a bad environment because these two things are not the same.
Right.
Nobody is calling for the abolition of firehouses.
Right.
No one's calling for the abolition of firefighters. Why are you making that as if it's the same?
Right.
The reason you do that is to give every other first responder that same feeling of power. That same feeling of, I am law enforcement.
Right.
Actually, I am the authority in this scenario.
Since you know so much.
It's me. And we know what that gets you. That gets you on camera at this point being the person you really are to people who don't deserve it.
Yep.
And then you're mad when people call for you to be fired. Oh, I'm getting canceled.
It's literally your job to tamp those type of
situations. If you are the authority, imagine.
Right.
Imagine that's how you wield it. I think you're showing us who you really are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to be clear that this particular story, the theater here is that we get a story from the beginning that is about harassment and a woman who has been what sounds like a really awful person to work for.
Mm-hmm.
And the true story, which that is true and valid and all of those things, and I take nothing away from the people that she victimized, because been in that meeting getting yelled at for something that's like, can you even do this? But the real story here is that Portland Street Response has been being sabotaged from the beginning by the city and the bureau that is supposed to be making it happen.
Right.
So when you have people saying things like Rene Gonzalez is in there getting stuff done, understand the stuff that he's getting done.
Is it what you voted for?
Is ripping apart the things that you voted for. And half of it, and I do not mean this facetiously, half of it is just because Joanne Hardesty had her finger on it.
Yo.
Because you being opposed to Portland Street Response makes absolutely zero sense when you, as a city, are dealing with a police department that is violent.
I thought we were having a mental health crisis. It's not guns. It's not.
Yeah, it's certainly not the guns that kill
housing.
people. It's definitely
It's
not
the
having a
job
house.
market. None of that. It's mental health.
But why would we send mental health professionals to a mental health crisis? If you are pro-police, then you need to be pro-Portland Street Response.
Right.
Because aren't you tired of your friend, your dad, your brother, your whoever working those 14-hour shifts because nobody works these days? Understand the propaganda that you are being told. The Portland police got defunded. There aren't enough people, but there's enough hours in the day for Hunziker to have 2 jobs in 2 different states. There's enough money in the budget to let that man be getting paid time off while working in a whole other state. Oh, we got time for that. We got money for that.
That's what we call a callback.
Do not be fooled.
We have money to reinstitute the traffic division.
Oh, hella money for that.
We have money for 2 planes. We're going to keep bringing the 2 planes up.
We have money for things that do not stop, do not solve, do not mitigate a crime. We got money for that. But we have absolutely zero time, patience, money, anything to actually address the issues at hand. We also have money to spend on marketing campaigns to make you believe that this is just individualistic addiction and people are making choices and they just want to live outside. Those people just want to shoot up in front of your kids.
But you know what? We're going to make sure we get a handle of that too and make sure they can't camp between the hours of 8 a.m. Oh, is it 8 p.m.?
No, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah. We will spend a bunch of money wasting your time because this is their job. So understand, time not wasted over there.
I'm going to have to start attending these city hall meetings because I want to be able to ask some questions.
You won't.
Okay.
He will ask you why you're asking questions because
true.
Other cities have the same ordinance. So why you ain't over in Lake Oswego talking right now?
To have members of the houseless community say to ban us from camping during the hours in which we sleep because the city is too unsafe to sleep at night outside. We are awake at night and we sleep during the day. For someone to present that to a council,
commissioners,
to me, I feel
people of power.
Right. I feel like maybe they didn't know that. Best case scenario, they didn't know that. Worst case scenario, they don't care. But to be unprepared to deal with that reality as it's presented to you, like, grossly shows how unqualified you are to even move on this position at all. Like, we constantly say the people that should be part of this conversation, leading these conversations, are community-based organizations that are on the ground actually dealing with this population, as opposed to people up in the bubble in their ivory tower looking down and saying, I know how to make these ants work better.
Right. There's a thing you're missing.
Give it to me.
The cruelty is the point.
Yeah.
The cruelty is the point for Renee, for Ted, for Mingus. The cruelty is the point. For anybody who is saying, and for every single person who is perfectly fine with sweeping people, with getting them off the street, because however you spin it to yourself that nobody should sleep on the street. Number one, self-report that if you can't see it, it's not happening.
Right.
Silly. Okay? Unqualified for the conversation. Completely silly. But the cruelty is the point for the people in power, and cruelty is the point for the people that champion those people in power.
Yeah.
They want to see people hurt. They do not want to see them eat more. They do not want to see them get cleaned up and get a job and have a place to live. They don't want to see that. That's not the reason they run for office. That's not the reason that they vote.
How do you know you're better than someone if you can't see them struggling. I need to see where I am. I need to be reminded of where I am in the caste system every single day.
I mean, there is really something to be said about people truly championing sweeping people off the street. And I need you to think that through. People say it out of their mouths. They type it. They're everywhere on the internet saying you better sweep those people. When you say that, have you ever seen somebody lose everything?
Right.
At one time, have you ever seen that? Have you ever experienced that? I don't have to experience losing everything I have in order to know that would devastate me.
Right.
And the fact that people are able to remove themselves from the possibility, it could never happen to me.
Right.
I would never be in that position. I mean, imagine feeling this way. And then you just lived through, well, not even lived. We're still in the pandemic, and I wish that we were spending more time on that. But you lived through a time where the large corporations literally said to you, get out of my face. We're done here.
Yeah. Keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing. I'm going to go ahead and try and get some of this federal money, but I'm not going to spend it the way that I'm supposed to spend it. Y'all go ahead. You're fired.
Right.
There's got to be a lot of people that lost their jobs that are blaming the wrong people right now for losing that job, that are also somehow blaming the homeless folks for losing that job.
Right.
That are blaming all sorts of other outside reasons that would never have anything to do with it. That is actually, you are closer to that position than you are to be the person doing the firing. We got all the smoke for all the wrong things. The other day I read, sometime this week, people, individuals, folks like you and I, all our fiancés, we collectively lost $3.7 trillion since the beginning of the pandemic. Corporations made $3.9 trillion. Friends, that should absolutely 1000% radicalize you. And it should not make you be out here caping for a corporation that is part of the reason that enacts, that literally lobbies to be able to not pay people enough money to live, to not pay taxes in the cities that they're in, or to pay as little as possible,
Yep.
Who get kickbacks, cuts, all the things, which takes money away from being able to take care of each other. All of us that need to be, we don't need to be taken care of as if people can't do it, but we need to take care of each other so that we all can do it.
Right.
This is the entire lie from capitalism, that it's on you and only you, and don't pay attention to your neighbor, except I'm also going to pay attention to your, I'm going to cheat off your neighbor. I'm going to get all the answers. I'm going to get the money first.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you not to do those things. And really, it's all on you. I mean, if you could just even really quickly think about the people in your life right now, somebody in your life who has just real mediocre. real mediocre, but in their mind, there is no one smarter. You have someone in your life like that.
Right.
You have someone who shows levels of success, tells you how hard they work for it, but you watch them play golf all day, and so you're mad confused. Like, I don't understand. You mean work harder, so I just need a different job because your job looks like playing golf all day.
Right.
But you're not a professional golfer. I need help. But so if I do that, well, then no, because that's not how any of it works.
At all.
But you have somebody, just like these police, who will literally tell you that this is the hardest job and the most dangerous. There is no evidence of that.
Right.
But they will continue to tell you this is the most dangerous job in the world. Of the world, Craig.
John shot us a text. He said, we're all just a few missed paychecks away from losing everything.
John?
Also said 3.9 trillion in profit during record inflation. Please make it add up. Oh, wait. It's the tax subsidies.
Hello?
Also, thank you, Morgan. Get it, sister. The cruelty is the point. Sorry for the late response. John,
you know, I'm never yelling at you.
That's right.
Much like Malcolm. Malcolm's never getting yelled at. And Crystal. Crystal, I don't yell at you either.
No.
It's all hearts and star eyes. I do appreciate people understanding that the cruelty is the point.
Yeah.
And you can't align, you know, like this is part of the reason why it's so upsetting to see certain people say certain things because they are not as informed as they need to be, but have platforms that are all big and bad and say stuff, not realizing that, hey, cruelty is actually the point here. The disrespect is actually the point. The putting us back in our place is the point. They don't like audacity. Nobody, you know, like nobody wants you to be pointing a finger at a place that it actually belongs.
Right.
I've done all this work. I've set up all this infrastructure for you to not know that it's me.
Yikes.
How did you get here?
How did you reach this conclusion?
I'm going to tell you, like, I cannot handle the fact that people are still out here, even if it's all bots. Honestly, even if it's all bots that are out here saying Renee is doing what he's supposed to, we need this, we need that. You are exposing yourself as a cruel human being, if you are in fact a human being.
Right.
And that does not make people who don't feel the same way go, you know what, you're onto something. They are sabotaging a program that would absolutely net benefit, full benefit to the city, to the citizens, to the people who work those jobs, and to the police that you pretend got defunded.
Right. So let's stop pretending that's what you want.
You don't want that. The police actually just quit doing their job for years here.
Yeah.
They just slowed it on down, blamed something that didn't happen, and the amount of people that believe it because the same news anchor that's been on the news for my entire life said it out of his mouth. So it must be true.
Jeff Gianola.
Oh, I wasn't going to say any names. Shout out to Jeff Gianola.
When you just mentioned the anchor that's been around for a while, it's some guy. Huh? I know Jeff.
Yeah, I was just saying. I was.
Yeah, I was just remember.
Trying to say I wasn't throwing shots.
We're not throwing shots at you, Jeff. I was just, you know.
No actual shots were being thrown there is all I was trying to get at. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
You trusted name, trusted face.
Yeah.
I might have seen him at the Safeway.
Yeah.
Like, he wouldn't lie to me. And I'm not saying that news anchor is lying to you.
Right.
Knowingly.
Right.
But the story is different. The story isn't just, Portland Street Response isn't making it, isn't cutting it. That was a far progressive, far left idea that just didn't work.
Nonsense.
It takes money away from people who make a ton of money doing cruelty.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. Now they got people out here talking about the nonprofit industrial complex as if they even understand what they're saying. They just keep moving it around on you.
The wild part is that they'll use that phrase, right? And totally ignore the prison industrial complex. And their understanding of this nonprofit industrial complex is that people are out here trying to make money off of an issue, off of a vice that the community is experiencing. But when we say prison industrial complex, it's like you're just making that up. Privatized
slavery's
prisons,
over.
it's not a real thing.
Slavery's over. Get over it.
Guys, prisons aren't here to make money. They're here to keep us safe.
Read a book. I'm tired. Cruelty is the point. If you are unwilling, if you are absolutely unwilling to sit down, read information that does not confirm your bias, and then jump into a little bit of that old me search you got to find out, hey, is some of the stuff that I thought maybe not true?
I haven't heard that in a while, the me search.
Because some of it's not true. You know, some of it's just not true. And because we have had it all our lives, because the theater and theatric presentations of it all, we are so used to, we don't even question it. We don't question it. We just do it. We say it, whatever it is. I mean, just lemmings.
Right.
You know?
Thank you all for coming out. That's a good night.
Yeah.
Just let me.
We really have this. How many times have you said, I'm not a lemming?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm no lemming. I'm not going to jump off and just walk right off that cliff just because the rest of the lemmings are doing it. That's not even something that's ever happened.
Yo, fairy tales, bro.
It's like just literally not real. And here we are, a society, a country of people.
Man.
And to be clear, it's not just here. I mean, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
But just that alone for me is like, at what point do you get a piece of information that rocks your world in some way, shape, form, or fashion? Oh my God, I always thought that thing. What? And your eyebrows and raise and your eyes get big.
Right.
At what point do you say, but that's the only thing?
Right. The rest of this stuff I know concrete.
Is 100. Oh, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, but that lemmings thing, that was weird. I wonder why anybody started that.
Real quick, you're listening to X-Ray FM at KXRY Portland at 91.1 and 107.1 FM, and in Nehalem, Manzanita, and Rockaway Beach at 91.7 FM, streaming online everywhere at xray.fm.
And that is News with My Fiancé. Wow. I want to take this moment to apologize. I am supposed to do a lot better by looking at the time. I missed it.
Listen, we
didn't even get to Ron DeSantis. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because he's going to do 17 more things today. And so I'll just add to the story.
It's a running list. He's picked up the Trump news cycle strategy. It's a running list with this guy.
Okay,
he's like, I'm not hot right now. Drop something.
If we can get our lives together enough to be able to actually interact with folks about these news stories, that would be super cool. Because what I want to know, do y'all even care about Ron DeSantis? Just kidding. That's not what I want to know. I want to know what you think the possibility of this, Republican field.
Oh, because there's so many out there?
There's so many. I don't know, Ambush, you're a very busy and important man, and you may have missed yesterday that there was an announcement that Mike Pence will announce that he will run for president next week.
It's an announcement of an announcement. I wonder if we'll go to Twitter Spaces.
I think he probably won't. Mother doesn't like Twitter. He will probably put it in a book. I don't know what Mike Pence is doing.
Yeah.
And what I really want to know from all of the fiancés is, don't you think folks deserve to retire with dignity around here?
Or just retire, because
why do these people want to work when they're 1,000 years old?
The power is too intoxicating.
But what it tells me, Ambush, is that you do not really have to be there to be the president.
No, you don't.
And I feel like that's not the message we really want to send.
Well, you just need to be a white man. Well, this is News with My Fiancé, brought to you by Working Joe's and DJ Ambush and our podcast editor, Kyle G. Thank you for all the text engagement today. I am updating our music playlist. We're going to try to remember to do this every single week, but I just added that to our production notes. But hey, don't let the individuals distract you from the systems. Poverty is a policy choice. People over profits. Power to the people. And none of us are free until we are all free. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.